Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've finally gotten a good view of what's coming for the Israeli Aviation tech tree, and we also have a trailer released for the next update called Winged Lions. And from what I've been able to read, the reception is pretty mixed on the aviation tech tree for Israel. Smin 1080p, one of the Community War Thunder managers, was getting heckled a bit on the forums, but what else is new? People are calling the tree copy-paste trash already, and lambasting Gaijin for giving Israel better versions of the Mirage than France has. But we stay calm over here, guys. I'm not surprised at all with the behavior of some. Alright, enough beating around the bush already. Let's get serious. Alright, so let's break down the trailer a bit, and then I'll jump right into the tech tree. So a lot's going on here. We finally have the Republic F-105 Thunderchief, also affectionately known as the Thud. A lot of you were right when you said it might be coming, and I'm happy to see it. The F-105, if I'm remembering correctly, was the largest single-engine fighter bomber that ever existed. I've been standing next to this thing in some museums, and it's pretty huge. Now, this beautiful beast is one hell of a bomb truck, and it was proven in combat over Vietnam, but it did kind of have not such a good record. We lost a lot of F-105s. But it carried lots of bombs. An additional fuel in its bomb bay. It could even carry more bombs in the bomb bay, but in Vietnam they kind of just carried fuel there. But it is a bad mamma jamma. It's an all-weather, low-level, high-speed penetration bomber. Capabilities only exceeded by the F4 really, which kind of started replacing it on some strike missions. For its time, the F-105 was quite sophisticated and possessed some cutting-edge navigation and bombing avionics called Thunderstick and Thunderstick 2 fire control systems. Funny name. I wonder who thought of that. Someone ought to give that man a medal. And I don't know what version Gaijin's given us, but I'm guessing we're getting the D model. But the Thud was capable of filling many roles. One of its other primary roles in the G and F models was suppression of enemy air defenses. Now I'd love to see that mission in the game, but Gaijin would definitely need to work on some mechanics to make that kind of viable. But a suppression of enemy air defense plane would be pretty fun. But anyway, moving on. We're getting the 20mm cannon with the Thud. It has the ability to carry sidewinders and bombs from here to Kingdom Come, bullpups and rockets. So this is going to be the full meal deal when it comes to air to ground. Thud was also equipped with ECM pods. It had an R-14A monopulse radar for air to air and air to ground work. But you know, this is an attack fighter. It's not an air-to-air Top Gun. It has RWR and countermeasures. I'm definitely looking forward to grinding this plane out and then showcasing it on the channel. It's one of my favorite jets from the Vietnam era, and I'm really happy that Gaijin's putting it in the game. So moving on, for all you naval fans, it looks like we're getting the Scharnhorst. I still play World of Warships, but it was one of my favorite ships in that game, so I'm pretty happy that it's here with us now. I'm going to start getting a little more serious about naval. I have to grind those ships out. But I'll definitely have my eye on the Scharnhorst, and I'd like to showcase that on the channel as well. Moving on further, it looks like a 2S3 Akatsiya 152mm self-propelled gun and the Band Cannon 155mm self-propelled gun. I knew we were going to see some crazy stuff this patch, but this even caught me off guard. So Gaijin is firmly moving into self-propelled artillery territory. This could be very interesting indeed. So the 2S3 will be nice, but my money's on the Swedish Band Cannon. It was legendary for its insane rate of fire. We're talking about 14 to 15 rounds every 45 seconds. Alright, so let's move on to the Israeli Aviation tech tree. I want to cover mainly the top jets here because honestly, everything else here already exists in other lines. Up first is the Kfir C7, and I was pleasantly surprised Gaijin went with the C7 over the C2. From what I could find on the C7, we're getting the EL-M2021 multi-mode post-Doppler radar, the Elisra SPS-200 RWR, and countermeasures. It was also armed with two 30mm DIFA cannons, and we could also see it with Pythons, maybe even Python 3s, or the Kfir, I think it's Kfir 2 missiles, and the capacity to carry really good ground attack ordnance. It really depends on what Gaijin does here, but they kind of went ham by giving us the C7 over the C2. The Mirage 3 CJ and F4E look to just be copy and paste. The CJ pretty much just being the Mirage 3 from France with it had some dumbed down avionics and other electronics. And also the F4E is pretty much just a copy from the US tech tree, albeit both of them have the ability to carry locally developed missiles like the Kfir and the Python. That really just leaves the ground attack focused Nesher, which is pretty much a Mirage 5 that can also carry Kfirs and a whole lot of ground attack ordnance. So for hard hitting air RB, the best choice out of the tech tree pretty much just looks like the Kfir C7. I mean, if you only care about air. But for ground pounding, you got a lot of choices. I'll probably just go for the Nesher. I don't really want to fly another F4E. Alright, so in conclusion here, and if you made it to the end, thanks for hanging out. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like button for me. It really helps the channel out. But overall, some pretty good additions coming. The Israeli tech tree is a good start with room to grow. It's easy to see this as all copy pasta, but I think the silver lining here is that we're getting some unique Israeli developed weapons like the Python. That could be fun. For players that don't want to grind USA or France, you kind of get the best of both worlds here, at least in the higher tier or higher BR jets. In the lower BRs, you even get a taste of Britain with the Spitfires. So from a time as a resource perspective, you could save a lot of time here because the tree is relatively small and you kind of get a variety of planes from those three nations. But what do you think? Is this a complete letdown or are you excited? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for checking out the channel, and I'll see you in a future video.